Taxes, taxes, taxes. Tax his wage, tax his pay. Tax the bed in which he lays. Tax his tractor, tax his mule. Teach him taxes are the rule. Tax his cow, tax his goat. Tax his pants and tax his coat. Tax his tie, tax his shirt. Tax his labor, tax his dirt. Tax his smoke, tax his drink. Tax him if he tries to think. Tax his beers, tax his booze. When he cries, tax his tears. Tax his bills, tax his gas. Tax his notes and tax his cash. Tax him good and let him know that after taxes, it's their dough. If he hollers, tax him more. Tax him till he's good and sore. Tax his coffin, tax his grave. Tax the sod in which he lays. Put these words upon his tomb. Taxes drove me to my doom. And when he's gone, they won't relax. They'll still go after inheritance tax, accounts receivable tax, building permit tax, CDL license tax, cigarette tax, corporate income tax, dog license tax, federal income tax, federal unemployment tax, fishing license tax, food license tax, fuel permit tax, gasoline tax, hunting license tax, inheritance tax, inventory tax, IRS interest charges on top of tax, tax on top of tax, IRS penalties, tax on top of tax on top of tax, liquor tax, luxury tax, marriage tax, Medicare tax, property tax, real estate tax, service charges tax, Social Security tax, road usage tax, sales taxes, recreational vehicle tax, school tax, state income tax, state unemployment tax, telephone federal excise tax, telephone federal universal service fee tax, telephone federal state and local surcharge tax, telephone minimum usage surcharge tax, telephone recurring and non-recurring charges tax, telephone state and local tax, telephone usage charge tax, utility tax, vehicle license registration tax, vehicle sales tax, watercraft registration tax, well permit tax, workers' compensation tax. Still think this is funny? None of these taxes existed 100 years ago, and our nation was the most prosperous and free nation in the world. We had absolutely no national debt, $100 million in gold in the U.S. Treasury, and the largest middle class in the world, the best off middle class in the world. And mom could stay home to raise the kids while dad earned enough money from the single job for everyone to get by nicely and for many to prosper. So what happened since 1908? Well, the federal income tax is what happened. That's the second plank of the Communist Manifesto, which specifically reads, a heavy, progressive, or graduated income tax. That's where you find graduated taxation, class warfare. The Constitution requires uniformity of taxation. It doesn't allow Congress to discriminate against the American people and break them into different groups that are treated with different laws because of the group they're in. That's class warfare and communism. Divide the people and keep them fighting amongst each other in a class warfare system that prevents them from realizing it's the political class that's enslaving them, betraying them, and looting the treasury to enrich themselves and their own friends and cronies. In addition to the income tax, what happened in 1913, they both happened together. Income tax and Federal Reserve Bank was created. Same year. Why? Because you can't have an institution that creates paper money that prints it endlessly into circulation unless you have a back-end mechanism that removes the excess currency from circulation so that it is never in the hands of the people to be used to drive up prices by too much cash chasing too few goods. So they steal half your paycheck in order to prevent you from being able to get by on one job, being comfortable in your life, not wanting government to help you and assist you. The Federal Reserve Bank prints the money. The income tax removes it from your hands and places it in the hands of the government so that they experience the 100% purchasing power it has before it's printed into oblivion and spent by the government. So that's what happened, is they took away from you constitutional money and handed you a fiat debt script that can never be repaid. Why can't it be repaid? Well, let's look at what happens. Every single penny of currency and credit that exists in circulation today has been borrowed into existence. So what happens if we gather up all the currency, all the credit, all the deposits, and give it all back to the Federal Reserve Bank so that effectively we've paid off every single penny that we borrowed? Are we done? No, we're not done. We haven't paid the interest. And what will happen next? Well, we just gave back all the currency in circulation to get rid of the debt. That means there's no medium of exchange in circulation for society to conduct its daily transactions. There's no cash left in society. What are you going to do? Trade shoes for bread and hats for milk for the rest of your life? And what happens when the existing loans come due? Because you paid back the principal, but you haven't paid off your loans. And there's no cash left in circulation to do it because you paid back all the currency to have no debt. So what happens with each successive month of failure to pay? The banks foreclose on the houses, on the homes, on the office buildings, on the cars, on the businesses, on everything that has a mortgage on it. And in the end, the bank, the private corporation, the Federal Reserve Bank, ends up with all the currency and all the properties with mortgages on them. And the people have no money, no currency, no medium of exchange, and own nothing. They will be forced to go begging to the bankers. You don't have a constitutional system of government in this country anymore. And you don't have a constitutional system of taxation either. The Federal Reserve Bank has co-opted and is running your government and the whole country. Look at it. Look at the reality. When the president talks, what happens? He gets ignored. Nobody pays attention to what the president says. He's an idiot. He's a senile, dementia-ridden fool. And the whole planet knows it. But what happens when the Federal Reserve Bank chairman talks? I'll tell you what happens. The whole planet turns in to find out what's coming next. And it ain't good.